What's something people don't really think about during a zombie apocalypse? I'm always shocked in zombie movies shows that people forget bicycles exist. It's a relatively fast and quiet way to get around that no one uses. What about slingshots? Why is no one using slingshots in zombie shit? Unlimited ammo essentially, quiet, you can use it to draw zombies' attention away from you. So many possibilities. Slingshots people. Gasoline will go bad in a few years. This is the one that always cracks me up because so many shows, games, movies have these decked out, zombie cars, that probably get a nice 8 miles per gallon. Which, unless there's some groups mining oil, running a refinery, and selling gas, will be completely useless in 2 to 3 years. I love that in Mad Max Fury Road they show that in the wake of a post-apocalyptic world they still have an oil and gas refinery up and running. We could stop all this zombie apocalypse nonsense if we'd simply tie the shoelaces together on folks before we bury them. That's a good point. And zip tie their hands to stop the biters from crawling. Most people will die of the virus in their beds with fever, home or hospital, at least at the start. So expect most zombies to be in pajamas, hospital gowns with their asses hanging out, or butt naked. Good point. I also feel like a lot of people would then die cause they'd not be able to take the zombies seriously dressed like that. At least the first few days. Waste management. I see this in other doomsday scenarios as well. With no septic system or trash collection, I see disease being more of a risk than a lot of other factors. Same with injury. Sure, there's first aid, but without a power grid to refrigerate meds, something as simple as a cut or scrape can prove fatal. Dental problems occur. Imagine having braces on when the apocalypse starts, and never being able to safely take them off. I feel like there's a book about a teenage girl trying to find a dentist during a zombie apocalypse to get them removed. Might have been a fever dream though. People with chronic diseases dying from lack of meds after a few weeks or months. Diabetics, for example, that rely on insulin or metformin. I'm type 2. Not sure how long I'd last without metformin and a variety of food choices that allow me to eat and keep my blood sugar in control. Months? A couple years? I have a very heavy prescription on my glasses and always thought about this. If I broke them, I'd be SOL. The banks still want their quarterly fees. Your gym will be calling you within the week. The zombie hordes would eventually rot away. Their bodies are decomposing, so eventually their tendons and whatever would no longer be able to allow the undead to be mobile. Survivors just need to wait it out. In a reanimate the dead scenario, definitely true. What I wonder more about would be something like a mutated rabies that doesn't actively kill the host, but pushes them to base-level instincts of aggression, food, and water. That is basically the premise of 28 Days Later. The people aren't traditional zombies. They are infected with the rage virus, which is like a roided-up aggressive version of rabies in a weird way. That you'd be living to merely survive with no comforts. It would not be as enjoyable as some people fantasize about. Lack of nutrition, medication, hygiene products, medical care, new clothes, shoes, etc., etc. Wear contacts? Good luck finding saline solution or getting more. Or you take them out to sleep and get attacked meanwhile. It would really suck. I've always told my family that in the event of a zombie apocalypse, I'm just going to go ahead and give in. I'm not ready for a crappy life worrying about zombies around every corner. Cover your skin. A full face helmet and Kevlar jacket pants would pretty much make you zombie-proof. Even a welder's leather jacket or a carpenter's apron could help. The ideas that you come up with, the places you think about going to, are probably the same exact thoughts that countless other people have as well. Yeah, I'm just going to bunker down at the nearest Walmart and hold the place to myself. No, you won't, because country boy Terry already laid claim to the place and is gonna pick you off with his firearms if he sees you encroaching on his territory. Or likely there will already be a massive crowd of zombies waiting for you when you get there. Just returned from Walmart can confirm. It has started. Zombies already there. Having good shoes so you don't get blisters. Screw the shoes. Get rollerblades and just fucking zoom. Brains, just why are they so delicious? I mean, they weren't yesterday, but today I can't get enough. Dental hygiene will go out the window. I was watching The Walking Dead and that's what I thought about. I said I'd try to get as many toothbrushes and toothpaste as I can. The lack of sleep. Real, actually peaceful sleep. Between zombies and the people taking advantage of the lack of order, real beneficial sleep will be almost impossible the first few years. Imagine the first month sleeping 4 to 5 hours per night, really light sleep. Then, one night, you seem to be in a safe place for once, you sleep like 10 hours totally immersed in the rest. When you wake up, you have those 2 minutes we all have experienced where you don't know what day is it, what is happening with your life, or what are you supposed to do. And then you remember everything that happened in a fraction of a second, the deaths, the apocalypse, the distress, your situation, the ones you've lost or don't know nothing about. Just imagine how would that make you feel. Drinking water. All lakes and rivers are possible infected during apocalypse. How long can human live without drinking water? Also, if you breathe in corpses rots everywhere, then it will be like a poison for you. It's not just an awful smell, it really can poison if you breathe this too long. Ask anybody who works with corpses. Lots of people are gonna try and go to the woods and start building fires which will inevitably get out of hand, causing wildfires. Or more likely, they will start to run out of food. A lot of people think that you and some other hundreds, or thousands, can survive in the middle of the forest with no much effort, just picking berries and catching rabbits. In a scenario like that, they will quickly find out why farming was the biggest thing happening 10,000 years ago, and why our society leveled so many forests for more farmland. In fact, the Book of World War Z have a chapter about that. A lot of Canadian families drive to the north to hide in the woods, and everything is nice and chill for like 2 weeks, then people start to run out of food. I took a survival course, and the first thing the instructor told us when we got out there was, "If you think you're going to survive out here, you're dead wrong, because I would die out here and I have 20 years of experience." How every scenario in which they think they'd do alright starts with them being ready. I imagine a whole lot of very capable people would just be sleeping in, and wake up to the sound of breaking glass and die in a minute. In the remake of Dawn of the Dead, I liked how Anna, the main character, is waking up and there's a zombie child attacking her and her husband, and she has the sense to grab the keys to the car and run like hell, but she's in her pajamas and barefoot. This is how the few survivors are probably going to be, woefully unprepared and scared as hell with no idea what's going on. Move to a hot and humid climate, Al. The wild animals and especially the maggots will reduce all undead to skeletons in a matter of months. Also, buzzards love the smell and taste of rotting flesh. Or a crazy cold climate. The zombies will just freeze solid. Great news! The buzzards eat the zombies' flesh, and now we have flying zombie buzzards. Mosquitoes and ticks could be a real big problem, as animals are also affected by the zombie virus. Play a game like Zomboid, and your first few days, if not weeks, is built around hardcore survival, scavenging, and discipline via trying to reserve and avoid wasting supplies. But after you've settled, and built something to last, and have your needs met, what then? Like The Walking Dead, it becomes painfully less about the zombies by some point, and more of the everything after survival. The eternal nothing. Yeah, nobody talks about how boring the apocalypse would be. Zomboid gets it right. You being alone in this massive area, nothing to do but hone skills in carpentry, mechanics, and bushcraft. Your work will still ask if you're available to come in. Tom just got bit yesterday, and we don't have anyone to cover his shift. I'm gonna take this question as, what's something movies don't think about? 1. Smell. 2. Both intelligence and stupidity of PPL. 3. Literal the effective nature. Bacteria and decomp would absolutely have zombies wrecked. Then you have weather and other wildlife just going murder force. 4. Actual military firepower and the vast ability to wipe out areas if wanted to. To be honest, this would be a much easier virus to contain versus something like COVID. You can actually kill this virus with airstrikes or even just bullets. You can't do that with traditional virus and disease. Zombie farts. Like they are filling up with noxious gases, cramming meat down their throats, which would begin decomp. An entire group of zombies will be alternating between whale explosion level farts and then chipotle diarrhea when the chunky bits work their way through. In other words, the bathrooms at the fairgrounds when someone cooked questionably fresh meat on a stick. Their mothers. She would really appreciate a phone call now and then, even if you have nothing to talk about. It's nice to hear your voice. She's sorry if she keeps you on the phone too long. She knows how busy you are and doesn't want to be a bother. No one ever thinks to loot a scuba store for shark-proof chainmail suits. Everyone thinks that they are going to be surviving the zombie apocalypse. Being overrun with rodents. With no predators, the rats and mice will breed uncontrolled in the grocery stores. The produce will all rot and attract insects. Food in boxes or plastic packaging will be chewed open. Within a few weeks, the food that will still be viable will all be canned. Then after a few generations of rodents, the cats, coyotes and higher-order predators will begin to breed like crazy, because they now have no controls and an ever-expanding food source. Nuclear apocalypse, since there wouldn't be anyone to fix stuff and prevent accidents at nuclear plants. There won't be an easy access weather app website. Any weather beyond a day away will be unpredictable. Rain, snowstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes, cold snaps, heat waves, your ability to know what's coming will be drastically reduced. What zombie apocalypse detail gets overlooked? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.